Welcome to A Better HR Business, the podcast that looks at how HR consultants and HR tech firms grow their businesses and how they help their employers to get the best out of their people. Remember, for show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Okay, let's get started.
Hello, welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining me. Now, I want you to think back to when you were an employee in the corporate world. Searching for your new role could be a really stressful, disheartening, and often a brutal time. And you got the job boards and online CV and LinkedIn advice, recruitment consultants and headhunters. They're all offering help, but it was only a very small part in the puzzle, and it was sometimes overwhelming knowing where to start. And then you got the automated applicant tracking systems that so many HR teams and recruiters use now in their HR hiring processes. And it means that job seekers can get lost in a black hole if their CV and social profiles and application documents aren't optimized to deal with them. However, securing the next executive role doesn't necessarily need to be a stressful and overwhelming experience, because that's where Andrew MacAskill, job search strategist, comes in. Andrew's excellent business, Executive Career Jump, helps people take back control of their job search and get a competitive edge when they make their next career jump. And he does this via a very interesting mix of products and services, which we're going to dive into now. Hi, Andrew. Thanks very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Ben. It's great to be here.
Yeah. And whereabouts are you based?
So we're based in Southampton, down in sunny Hampshire on the south coast of the UK.
Beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And look, I know it's a little while ago, but you're English. And so I just want to check in and see how you're doing after the nil points at Eurovision, England's 0 points. How do you feel?
It hurt. Yeah, it hurt. It really, really hurt. I didn't think we were that good, actually. So, yeah, maybe I'll go into bat next year, see if we can
oh, wow, got a new product line. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I always find it bizarre that a non-European country, Australia, can rank higher than other countries. So, yeah.
No comment.
Yeah, good stuff. So let's dive in. What does Executive Career Jump do?
Yeah, well, we're a business with one very clear purpose. And so our North Star, if you like, is that our mission is to end job search misery. So that's the overall guiding light that drives everything that we do. And how that's manifested is in a number of different things. So we started off with an online club, which is a subscription club, an online course, a community, group coaching, which helps leaders go from understanding what they want to then executing a plan to go and get it. And it's broken down in the minutiae of detail in terms of getting an edge at each stage and really standing out from others in transition. So that's the first piece. We also do one-on-one services. So we've got a team of coaches, myself included, who can help with anything from selling yourself more effectively to optimizing LinkedIn to getting that CV to beat those bots and go past the ATS machines as well. And by accident, really, we started also working with organizations. So people were coming to us who'd already been through outplacement programs previously to get an extra edge. Word started to spread. And so then companies have been engaging me and the team to help them offboard people with the same passion, I guess, that they onboard people so that they leave as advocates.
That's brilliant. So you got a wonderful mix of B2C and B2B. So you didn't start out trying to get that B2B work. You just naturally evolved.
Completely naturally evolved. Yeah. And it all completely inbound off the back of a pretty simple content management strategy. But we're going to go further into that. I see that as an overpriced, outdated industry that's well due some disruption and a more digital focus. So I'm looking forward to it.
Right. The outplacement support is
yeah, totally overpriced, completely outdated. A lot of people teaching, LinkedIn to job seekers have no LinkedIn presence themselves, all that sort of stuff. I think there's a fresher, more cost-effective, more impactful way to do that service, and We're going to do it.
Wow. Okay. So watch this space. Very good. So if we go to the club, then I think it's a fascinating product, service, whatever you want to call it, that you've offered. How did you actually start it in the first place? Because it's quite a big decision to set up a group.
Yeah. So just dialing back. So my last proper job was as MD of an organization called Executives Online. So we were an executive search business with 85 people in 5 countries. And I saw in the day-to-day running of that there were leaders in transition who were struggling, good people who weren't getting found. So initially, this was, I guess, what the cool kids would call a side hustle, Ben. Feels weird, a 40-year-old bloke saying side hustle. But anyway, it was a side hustle. Let's call it that initially. But then my 5 years at Executives Online came to an end. The board went in a different direction. And so through circumstance, we decided to go all in on it. And we went all in December 2019 when there was record low unemployment. And then a few months later, everything completely changed. We got super lucky with the timing, and we found what we were doing went into quite a high demand scenario. So at that point, we thought, right, I can't just keep doing one-on-one stuff and updating CVs and LinkedIn. We've got to get a more scalable model. And that's where the club came in, because obviously it's a self-serve situation. It's a community situation, and I'm diving in there once every 2 weeks for a group call. So it's relatively low touch for me, but relatively high impact for our customers, which is great.
Brilliant. That's good. Yeah, the timing thing is fascinating. The fact that you made that switch right when the market changed, whatever. I remember I once produced a big training program on employee attraction and retention because of the skill shortage. And then pretty much the following month, we had the global financial meltdown thing, all the banks crashing and stuff. So that wasn't such an issue anymore. So I'm glad that timing works for someone anyway. Tell me what's within the club. What are the actual components that someone would enjoy if they're a member?
Yeah, sure. So the online component, so we're built on the Kajabi platform, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
And when you enter into the Kajabi platform, there's two areas that our members go to. So the first area is the online course area. So we've got 30 modules in there of between 3 to 10 minutes that are audio files and also video files. And each one comes with a workbook or a template that you can work through as you complete through the course. Those 30 modules are organized into understanding what you want, getting your CV and LinkedIn in place, networking, working with headhunters, interviewing to a new level, on all the way through to onboarding, right? So it's like a full end-to-end online course. In the other section, we've got resources and templates. So everything from cover letter examples to networking templates to templates as to how to announce your availability on the market. And also the recordings of the group calls where we all get together on Zoom and we do a deep dive into something. So that's all in that resources and templates area. So that's the online component of the membership. What I think is particularly powerful and often underrated is the community element.
Yeah.
And so what they get is access to our private LinkedIn group, which at any point in time has had between 100 and 150 subscribers and members in there. And they play a really important role with each other because they're promoting each other's content, they're sharing headhunter contacts, they're sharing leads for jobs, and also openly sharing with some of the struggles that come with the mental side of the transition and supporting each other, buddying up, Zoom offies, all of that stuff. Some really good activity going on in there. So they get that. And then once every 2 weeks, they have to suffer a group call with me whereby we dive on and I'll do a live Q&A, but we'll also go super deep into one element of either the online course or the job search playbook, which is the book that we have recently launched as well. And we'll go deep into one element of that and coach people in more depth. So it's like it can be as comprehensive as you want it to be, right? For a relatively low entry price.
That's brilliant. And you've got a ready-made audience if you do decide to test out a new Eurovision song. So I would start there and test that. So to take it back, you mentioned there was lots of templates and things like that. If you're listening to this, I think templates are just such an important and powerful tool to have in the arsenal for either marketing and or client support, because people love templates. You can read a white paper that's 50 pages long, or you can take down a one-page document that says, this is what you need to do next. So I love the fact that you've added that into there. Why LinkedIn? There's so many groups on Facebook. I'm a member of different Facebook groups and there's offline platforms. What made you go with LinkedIn?
Yeah, so I'm a LinkedIn addict personally, and not reformed yet, but I'm working on it. So over the last year, I've probably added in excess of 70,000 personal followers and built a platform on there, which means it's my native environment. I'm in there all the time. So from a selfish point of view, it made sense for it to be on LinkedIn. But even though the group functionality on LinkedIn is average at best, and I do understand that hopefully that, there's the product guys over there have got some stuff in the mix to change that. Really, my aim is the reason the group's on there is because I want the executives who are in transition and working with us to be on LinkedIn as much as possible. And so if they are spending time in LinkedIn in our group, they're also more likely to be spending time posting themselves, commenting on relevant articles in their industry, creating new connections and networks, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, it's just about trying to keep the community focused in the environment that I believe will deliver the best result for them, even though the group functionality is average at best.
That's so cool. Yeah, I really like that. And when you set up the club, you got, 30 modules. And I love the fact that they're bite size, 3 to 8 minutes. That's so smart. I think my first ever course that I designed was a 2-hour lecture, which must have killed the people watching it. But anyway, lessons learned. You would have set up the course in the first place. You would have started with nothing, right? No community members. So how did you build a community if there's no community in place? Do you know what I mean? Chicken or egg situation. How do you get that interaction and things like that going?
Yeah. So I co-created the course content with 15 people who were in transition. So because I was working in exec search, I had a big pool of candidates that I could talk to. So 15 or so of those fed back on the platform. They helped me shape what the real pain points were and everything else. And then as a direct thanks for their input, I gifted them lifetime free membership. So nice. we were able to go out and start marketing already with a community in place. And I think you have to do that. Like, nobody wants to be member number 3. Because you don't get that community element. So being able to push out to market with 15, we actually got up quite quickly off of that. The harder thing has been kicking on again. So we've stuck between 100 and 150 members for quite some time. And the majority of our revenue comes from the other coaching and the outplacement stuff we do. But I'm currently trying to work out how we can re-engineer it so that it kicks on from here, because it kind of flew up to 100 and then it's just stayed in and around that, got up to 150 at various points. So yeah, have some members in there from day one would be my view on that.
Certainly the channel partner approach I've seen work in different places. That's what all the HR tech firms do, so they've got consultants in there trying to refer people in.
Yeah, so we've had we've got an affiliate program set up, partnership program set up with recruitment companies. So executive search companies who are talking to people that are maybe struggling. They might not have a role they can put them forward to, but they can put them our way and get them involved with our program. So yeah, we've got a partner landing page and a partner scheme set up to automate all of that on Kajabi.
Okay. So if someone listening to this is a recruitment firm, they should get in touch. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're a recruitment firm dealing in the mid to senior market and you're finding that there's lots of candidates you want to help, but you haven't got either the capacity or the number of vacancies to do so, then we'd really like to help you help them.
Nice. Now, how do you actually bring in the new clients at the moment? So the affiliate or partner program aside, what are you doing to get the word out there and bring in new clients?
Yeah. So last year, 92% of our revenue was purely inbound via LinkedIn.
Nice. From
organic content.
Really?
Yep. And there were kind of 3 pillars to that. Long form written content, some video content, but also the live broadcast. So we broadcast live every Thursday. We get between 200 and 300 joining live and 5,000 watching the catch up.
Wow.
That was the early catalyst to driving awareness of our brand and what we're doing. Over time, the mix has changed a little bit because we've got now this year, it's more like 60% LinkedIn inbound and 40% referral, because the business is in year 2. And so you're starting to get people that have been through the program, spread the word and tell their friends. So the mix has gone a little bit, but again, LinkedIn are playing with the algorithms a little bit now. But when we launched, we were doing long form text content with plenty of white space, getting some thought leadership out there, championing some causes. We had like 3 C's that drove it, which was championing posts, commentary posts, and capability posts. So we'd post about championing a cause, we'd post commentating on the market, and we'd post demonstrating our capability and knowledge of the job search niche, and then go in with a hook and an offer. So we'd go CCC offer every single week, no more complicated than that. And we became oversubscribed within 3 to 4 months just by consistently doing that. And that's when we started to bring in other coaches and associates.
I love it. And do you have that mapped out somewhere in a document, or is it just all in your head and right, every week we got to do this?
No, it's a playbook. Yeah. And it's part of the LinkedIn playbook that we teach people who are in transition themselves to create their own personal brands, because 40% of the leaders who we've helped get hired have got hired inbound via LinkedIn. So it's our most successful successful channel to market out of the 5 ways you can get hired. LinkedIn's our most successful channel to market. So yeah, we've systemized it. We've really gone deep into the playbook elements.
Brilliant. I love it. How do you actually produce so much content? Because you do such high quality content and share all of that. How do you actually make it happen?
Number of things. One, the repurposing side is talked about a lot, but it's a really important point. So simple things like screenshotting a Twitter tweet and then repurposing that on LinkedIn, which takes a matter of seconds, but does a number of things. One, it stands out in the feed, particularly if you go into black mode on your iPhone so that it's white text against a black ground. It stands out in the feed because the text is bigger and it's mobile optimized. It drives more followers on Twitter from LinkedIn because people on LinkedIn will see your Twitter handle and then start following you on Twitter. It also is something you can post on your Instagram. So like from one Twitter post around a particular quote or something that, or you sharing a bit of advice, you can repurpose that within 3 or 4 minutes across all your main platforms in a super efficient way. So we did a lot of that. We did a lot of, recording our podcasts on video and then snipping it up into 60-second knowledge bites. Doing an article and then repurposing that into 4 or 5 text posts fit in around either a championing, a commentary, or capability narrative. All of that stuff. It's. I think the error that people make is they're trying to create stuff from scratch every single day, and you really don't have to. And you also the other way that we're able to produce so much is because our content filters are always open. So I'm never, ever having to think about my next post. I've got my next 70 ideas already in my iPhone, and it comes from every single conversation. So after every single conversation, I try and capture a couple of content ideas from that conversation. Yeah. I think that's super important. So today we're speaking about this. An update that might come about this would be, how to get on more podcasts in your niche and to collaborate with people that can help you. Here's 3 tips, right? Nice and easy. You're an Aussie living in Ireland. Another post that I might be inspired from this conversation is the benefits of having an international career and what you learn about yourself when you adapt to new cultures and environments. My point being, this idea that you've got to create content is madness. Get the content from what's happening around you, then be smart around having a playbook that's a jab, 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 right hook or something similar, and then repurpose it across all your platforms. And people say, how many marketeers have you employed? Like, with me, that's it. Like, we're literally just repurposing and getting super efficient around it. So I waffled on a bit there, but hopefully that's useful.
No, I think that's absolute gold. Hopefully people are taking notes, or if you're listening to this on the go back and check it, because that's the core of a successful content marketing strategy. Getting content that matters to people who are in your target audience. And I guess the way you've described it there is lining it up with stuff that's just happening every day. So it's not some profound moment coming down from the mountain with some tablets. No, it's just connecting to their concerns, their troubles, and sharing some advice and making offers and things. To wrap up then, if someone listening is either looking to change careers, or they've got someone in the family or their network who's thinking of changing careers, but maybe they're a bit scared or overwhelmed, thinking, oh, where do I start, especially in this post-corona world that we're living in, what's your overall advice?
Yeah, so where you start, once you're giving yourself a little bit of time, right? My first bit of advice is give yourself a bit of time. The biggest and most common and understandable error is that people start diving out interviewing way before they're ready. They don't know what they want. They're still in the grieving cycle from whatever's just happened. They're not on top form. And if you go out interviewing too early, you tend to get rejected, which then further knocks your confidence and pushes you back rather than forward. So that's my first tip. My second tip is the importance of structure. Yeah, I'm not naturally a structured person, so the irony of that coming from me, but it's absolutely the case. So structuring your day so that you are in effect the CEO of your job search. So having a go-to-market plan, getting up normally like you would if you were in a job, getting dressed in a way that would be appropriate if you were going to work, but leaving the house for 30, 40 minutes, doing a fake commute, coming back into your house, and then getting to work on that job search, taking a multi-channel approach, giving yourself a scorecard so that you know what good looks like by the end of the week, and really proactively using your business skills on that search in a structured way, rather than what we see, which is spraying and praying, throwing a few adverts out, and people being addicted to what I call hopium, that somebody's going to have a nibble. So just look after yourself, give yourself time, but then own it and structure it. And yeah, use your business skills on your search, Ben. That would be my advice.
I love it. I love it. This is brilliant. So if people are listening to this, they either want to become a client, they want to go through some of the programs, join the club, or if they would like to partner or learn more about the business in some way, or even just refer business to you, what should they do next?
Yeah, well, definitely, if you're not already, please do follow me on LinkedIn. So it's Andrew MacAskill. I'm on LinkedIn /job search coach as the URL there. I'm also available at www.execcareerjump.com, which is our main website. And if you want to just get a flavor for what we're about, this week we published a book called The Job Search Playbook, which became a bestseller within 24 hours, which blew me away.
Nice.
And you can get a copy of that for less than £10. It's less than 100 pages, but that'll give you a really good overview of what we're about and how we're getting the results that we're getting. So any of those channels.
What's in there?
Well, when I set out to do it, Ben, I said, if I'm going to write a book, if I'm going to do this project, when we approached about it, I want it to be less than 100 pages and less than £10, so that it was super accessible. And what it is a front to back. It's the type of thing you could buy. Say someone you cared about got made redundant at the weekend. You could hand it to them. It's got some transformative mindset updates in there. It's got a methodology in terms of a multi-channel approach and how you can go to market. It's got interview advice, offer management advice, all the way through to onboarding in less than 100 pages, easily digestible. So that's what we've gone and done. And it's been, as I say, been super well received. It's really blown me away. I've been very surprised. So that's a really good starting point.
Well done. Well done. Okay. So call out the website again, just for people on the go.
Thank you for the opportunity. So it's www.careerjump, all one word, .com.
Excellent. All right. Well, Andrew, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for sharing your insights and your advice. It's been fantastic.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ben.
Thanks for joining us today on A Better HR Business, the podcast that explores the world of HR consulting and HR tech businesses. For show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Remember to subscribe and share the show with any friends who are busy growing a HR business. Thanks, and see you next time.